You want to go get a cookie? Go ahead. Good boy. Sit. Give me some. Good job. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. I am a small reseller. I currently sell on eBay, Niknax, and on Whatnot. I thought I would give you a little show around my new reselling room today. I've just about got it put together, I think. We'll kind of walk through it. And then I had a couple other things to show you and tell you about. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so small recap. In here, up until a few days ago, was my reselling room. It's where I would take my inventory that I had listed and I would bring it up here, and I had a couple shelves and the floor, and this is where everything went. It looks still kind of discombobulated in here, but that's because we're finishing moving around some furniture and stuff like that. And I think we'll have some furniture we'll be getting rid of too. So, but anyways, so I went from this smaller, slightly smaller room to right next door. And as you can see, this is the new area. This is where I package items. Got some of my goodies in here, you know, tissue paper, other paper, just all the things. A lot of my listed, well, all my listed inventory is on here, and I've been able to get pretty much all of it kind of put on there. There's a little bit of it that's in the drawers down here, and I did keep the 3 bottom drawers down here available as well. This stuff is stuff that I think I had on Facebook Marketplace and no longer do. So I need to get photos of it and get it listed. So I'll be doing that. It's like Fire King, the Peach Luster, and some Corelle dishes. Morning Mist, I think is what the pattern is, at least on one of those. But a lot of my figurines and those kinds of guys are down here. A lot of the more metal and wood objects are tucked away down here, or new old stock in its box back there. Most of my glass is all up here. I have not even begun to organize this shelf, but everything on these shelves is all stuff that's available on Whatnot. And then right over here is where primarily my sales on Whatnot will be occurring. So I think I'll be able to maybe have my camera set up, and the camera's flipped the other way. It's flipped in portrait mode. So you should, in theory, be able to see the whole thing, maybe. But I figured if I had it on a tripod roughly about here, it might work. Might work. Might even do it something like that. You know? Anyway. And then, oh, this guy. Well, I guess we can go ahead and talk about him. Show and Hut made a lot of different toys and other items too, but Show and Hut is a very, very well-known name. And I came across this little toy upright piano in an estate sale, and it had been sitting up in the top part of a barn, and it was rather dirty, but it worked. I did have to take the lid off. You can see there's just these tiny little nails on here. So I did take the top off and cleared out the cobwebs and all that, you know. It works. It's entirely intact. And even the back of it is in really good shape. I did clean it up, but there's no repairs or, you know, changes to the original. I just removed the vermin, the spiders and such that had crawled up on the inside of there. It is a really neat little toy, and it's solid wood. But yeah, I had it up at the antique booth. I had it listed at $85, and I've seen them sell on eBay and stuff for even more than that when they're in this condition, working condition. But also keep in mind that my booth was always an additional 15% off. So it was 85 plus 15% off. So, which I don't know, I don't think is a terrible price for it, but I don't know. Anyway, so that's one thing. Oh, and then I brought back this jug too. I brought back a lot more. We're going to look at that. But this jug too. This is an old ceramic, spongeware with its original cork in there. And it is in fair condition. It still looks fine. There's nothing like look-wise wrong with it. There's not even chips or cracks on the spout of it or anything, but there is hairline cracking in the body. I'm trying to find a good one there. There is one that has dirt in it so you can see it, but hairline cracking in the body. And this is, what was he? Mohawk Liquor, R4. So these are not impossible to find. They're not super rare. But it's still a really neat piece. And as of right now, he's still in one piece. And I think he would just look great as decoration. And so I had him up at my booth for, I think I had $20 on him. Again, plus 15% off. And, nobody wanted him. And I even had as is written on the ticket, But, obviously, it's not, you don't want to put your liquor in there and go toting around town. It ain't going to work out so good. You're going to be leaking everywhere, probably, I would assume. I can't tell if the cracks actually go all the way through it or not, but, it feels stable, Well, now it's back home, and it will join the ranks. We will auction it on Whatnot. So I do feel like this looks really plain, I really do. And I think the dresser is hideous, and I'm not going to go through the time to go and try to redo it. This is it's like from the 80s and stuff, and maybe 90s, but it's, that's more headache than I want to deal with. So I'm thinking of draping it because I don't need to get in those drawers unless I'm pulling out something that is sold. So I'd be okay with having some sort of cover over it to make it look better. And then I'm thinking of maybe, I've got this stuff here. Slide over basket. Sit right there. Okay. So I've got this gray sheer stuff, and I'm thinking of somehow, I don't know. Is that going to be dark enough, to cover it well enough? I don't know. I'll get it on there and we'll see. I don't know. I do have some other fabric that might work. So we'll see. Oh, goodness gracious. But yeah, it's come a long way, a very long way. I think 2 videos ago, we had an exciting moment where my husband had completed the task of getting my bubble wrap hung up. And I thought I'd show you how it turned out. And there's some more of my, shipping supply stuff. It does look like a little bit of a hodgepodge in here, guys, and it's going to because, well, that's the way it goes. But it's organized up there with the stuff that's not open yet. But so far, this has been working great. I love that it's not on the floor, it's not in the way, it's not unrolling everywhere. I'm loving it. I think this works out, for now anyway, really, really well for holding that kind of stuff. All right, well, let's go downstairs for a minute. I want to show you guys something. We'll make a pit stop by the dining room. All right, so I need to dust and sweep in here, but outside of that, the dining room is pretty well back together. Okay, so welcome back to the dungeon where the remaining need to be listed inventory outside of what's in the storage room will be. I pulled out some additional glass pieces, and each one of these, there's something different about it outside of those lilac vases back there. I just still need to get those listed. But there's something different about each one of these. And I'm planning on here very, very soon doing just a basic, I don't want to say tutorial because I'm no glass expert, guys. But I thought we could look at the differences in the glass kind of up close. And because a lot of this stuff, it's like, unless you actually hold it in your hand, feel the edge, the sharpness of, cut glass or that kind of stuff, it's hard to truly know it. But I thought maybe we could go through some of my reference books and then look at it in comparison to some of these pieces and get a good idea of it. This clear tote, the black tote, the gray tote, the green tote. With the gray tote, I think has a few things in it. Oh, and that gray tote. All came back from the antique shop. But there's a lot of cute stuff in it. Like, shut up. That is adorable. It's ceramic. I don't think it was signed. I don't even think it's marked with like what the brand was or whatever. But obviously a piece that was either mass produced or the mold was mass produced and, ceramic painted at home kind of job or something like that. But, there's that piece. Oh, here was one of my signs I had up there. This is, Shawnee. This was Shawnee. And it does have some wear, but this lime green one, I guess, is a little bit more difficult one to come across. So, and believe it or not, I have sold art pottery pieces that have, wear, even sort of to this degree, and they do still sell just because they're harder to come by. So, but there's no chips or cracks on them, just wear to the paint. And what did I have him at? I had him at $5. With 15% off. Go figure. This is an Arnell's, I think. Yeah, Arnell's. And then, painted at home. You can find these in all different kinds of colors and whatnot. Some people get real crazy with it, but no chips, no cracks. Definitely a cool decorative piece. He's pretty tall. He's over a foot tall, I think. So I want to say he's like 14 inches tall. So to ship this guy would be expensive. I imagine I'd love to sell them on Whatnot, but I would feel horrible on the shipping. His weight's not that bad. He's maybe 2 pounds, but his height is what's going to get him. And I don't want to do that to you guys. Little vintage Fenton, and I believe it's marked Fenton, so it's 1971 or after. Little, it's technically an ashtray. But you could use it as a soap dish or a trinket dish of any kind. It did have one... Where is it? It did have one little spot on it where it was chipped. Where is it? Did it grow back? Where is it? I know it's on there somewhere. There it is. I found it. Okay. So you just start rubbing your hand around and you'll find it. So it did have this one little chip on it here. But I had it at $6. And then, like I said, 15% off. And then keep in mind, there was an entire weekend right before I decided to shut down my booth that I ran my entire booth at 50% off. Here is a Yankee candle topper shade. I guess would sit up on top of, like the glass jar candles, I'm assuming. Looking to see if it has a year on here. I don't see one, but I don't know. There's a lot of people that are real big fans of Yankee, and there's no chips, no cracks, no damage to it. I think I actually got it extra in an auction lot. I think it's super pretty. Really, really beautiful. But anyways, I won't go through everything down here because, well, that would take a little bit. But some of this, we'll go through. I'll pull this stuff out during my live sale. And if it makes sense shipping-wise, I'm down. Or if you really, really, really don't mind paying whatever it's going to cost to ship it, I'm down. But otherwise, I think we'll pull stuff out. We'll look through it all and whatnot. And I'll let you guys tell me if you want to run it. But there's going to be several items in here that just would not be ideal to ship due to the cost factor. So, but I'm down to ship anything. I just don't want to pin the buyer with some extravagant cost, especially if they're going to wind up getting the item so cheap. But maybe the shipping's worth it if they get it that cheap. I don't know. So the black shelf that I had that went long way, you know, it sat going like this, and the end of it sat right out here. That's upstairs in the reselling room now. So everything that was on it, like, you know, these dishes and creamers and sugars and all the stuff, it all got brought off. But that also meant these lamps came off of it as well. And some were on the top of that shelf, some were on the bottom of the shelf. And of course, I've been working on trying to get up there situated first because I felt like it was more important since I'll do my live sales up there. I ship from there, you know, all that stuff. So my attention has been up there rather than figuring this out. But I have been thinking it over occasionally. And what I'm thinking is I may just do a little rearrangement on the shelves. Anywho, so yeah, we'll be going through this stuff on my live sale and see what all you guys are interested in. Certainly give us an opportunity to get some different inventory in there. So yeah. So I have something else to tell you, and I thought maybe we could go on a little walk. It's really nice out today. I don't want to jinx it because it's pretty early in February, but it's nice out again. So I need to get out of the house for a minute, and I figured we could go walking around. I'm going to take you outside. I hope this doesn't freak anybody out. This is a rather large cemetery. It actually was hit by a tornado touchdown in that field area straight ahead where there's no headstones. And it had taken the headstones and scattered them every which way. When we moved into our house, there was this rock by one of the downspouts, and it just looked odd. It didn't look like a regular rock. And so I kind of flipped it over, and I could tell that there was writing on it. It was one that was similar kind of to like this little one here with the star next to it. It was similar to that, but a little smaller. And it was pretty old. Most of the writing on it was gone. You couldn't even make out the name. I contacted the city, and they got me the information to the couple that, you know, takes care of the cemetery. And I was able to give it back to him. And I'll never forget the look on her face when she came to my door and we handed it to her. And she just looked shocked. And she said, "I can't believe you turned it in." And I don't think I said anything, but basically my hope was that they'd be able to figure it out. She ended up telling us that the graveyard here is old enough, it goes into the early 1800s, that they didn't keep great records. And so they really didn't know which grave it or where the grave even would be for who it was. And so I don't know where it is now. Hopefully they've, you know, got it kept somewhere. Who knows? But that's my graveyard story. So, you know, my last video, I was talking about the antique shop and how they had messaged me and I'd made $24 in profit, and I couldn't figure out why, you know, how in the last month, like what kind of weird, you know, thing. And I think I figured it out, guys. And when I went up there 2 days ago to go finish grabbing the rest of my stuff out of the shop, out of the booth, she gave me my papers, you know, like my what sold papers, and I didn't even look at them when I was there. It really didn't matter, you know, we were done. And so I get all the way home and I'm looking at them. I'll be darned if it doesn't look like they even charged me rent for the month. And I think that's what happened. It looks like they took the, you know, like their regular, I don't remember what it was, 10% or whatever, you know, off the top of my sale. It looks like they did that, but I don't see any rent charges on the paper. But I'm finally closing that chapter. my antique booth chapter. It's finally done. It's finally actually done. Well, we got to go back up Saturday. They were even kind enough to let me leave the curio cabinet right where it sat until tomorrow, because we just weren't going to have room in the car to get it in there with everything, you know, all the inventory and stuff. So bless their hearts, they were kind enough to allow me to do that. And you know, I don't overlook the kindness at all. It means the world to me. I don't think we have enough of it. We don't see enough of it anyway. It's out there.